I think I reminded you what happened. I was in Jember in Indonesia, in Java, Indonesia, and I had to address about 1,000 students at the school every morning after Fajr and every night after Maghrib. And I asked them a question, and Indonesia is miserably poor. And I asked these 1,000 students, they range from age 8 until about age 16. I said, all those who have a smartphone, put your hands up. And I felt like a breeze blowing past me with a noise. Everybody put their hands up.
Oke, Google.
Iya, Ompong, ada apa?
Selamat pagi.
Pagi juga.
Kamu lagi apa?
Lagi santuy aja. Saya jomblo, tidak ada yang ajak keluar rumah.
Main teka-teki yuk.
Ayo, siapa takut?
Oke, kita mulai ya. Kalau kamu memang jago, kamu jawab teka-teki saya ya.
Siap, Ompong.
Ya.
And I said, okay, hands down. All those who do not have a smartphone, put your hands up. And out of 1,000, there was only 1 or 2. They were too poor to have a smartphone. So you can imagine what the child is doing. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته and Ramadan Kareem. In our last session, we were able to show you, demonstrate to you, the difference between traditional scholarship and the scholarship of Akhir Zaman, the model of scholarship, the profile of scholarship. And this one was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used Musa alayhi salam, the Prophet Moses, to symbolize traditional scholarship. And he gave us Khidir alayhi salam is the model of the scholarship of Akhir Zaman. And we are told that the greatest fitna that mankind will experience from the time of Adam alayhi salam to the last day is the fitna, the danger posed by Dajjal. And now we are told that the way to respond to Dajjal, to protect yourself from Dajjal, is the following the way of the scholarship of Khidir alayhi salam. You cannot respond to Dajjal with traditional scholarship. Shall I repeat that to you? You cannot respond to Dajjal with traditional scholarship. This is why the Darul Uloom has failed miserably to respond to Dajjal, to teach the subject of Dajjal, and to respond to events unfolding in the world which have come from Dajjal. Here is the answer. We are told that the reason why Khidir alayhi salam is the model of scholarship of Akhir Zaman is because, unlike Dajjal, who is blind in the right eye and therefore internally blind, Khidir alayhi salam وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِنْ لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. He receives knowledge directly from Allah, and therefore he receives knowledge internally. And then we went to the first event when Khidir alayhi salam allowed Musa alayhi salam to travel with him, and they got on board a boat, and he scuttled the boat. And Musa alayhi salam, using traditional scholarship, condemned it. And Khidir alayhi salam demonstrated that when you have internal, intuitive, spiritual insight, you're able to penetrate the reality of things, and you're able to anticipate what lies ahead. And Khidir alayhi salam knew that the wicked king, would be coming to seize the boat of the poor boatmen, the fishermen. in order to deprive them of their means of livelihood. This is insight. How do we know this? That this is the reason why he's coming to seize the boat. It is insight that delivers that answer. And when you interpret anything in the Quran or in the Hadith, you must always say, Allah knows best, because only Allah can confirm that you are correct. You must not be afraid of making mistakes, yes, but you should not just rush to offer an interpretation like a schoolboy until you are convinced that yes, this is the correct interpretation. So let the river of thought flow at its own speed. If you cannot understand as yet, wait and let the river flow at its own speed. And so now we have to understand that in Akhir Zaman, those who control power will come to deprive you of your livelihood. Sometimes they will seize your boat, and other times they will enforce a lockdown. Are you understanding? And then we have the second event. And now they get off the boat, and he comes to a boy and he kills the boy. But this is not to be understood literally. None of you who are listening to me must go out there and start killing boys. So Musa alayhi salam, using traditional scholarship, is outraged. أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا. He's outraged that an innocent boy should be killed. And traditional scholarship did not know what the scholarship of Akhir Zaman knew. That Khidir alayhi salam was able to look ahead. He was able to anticipate what is coming ahead. And he knew that this boy was going to grow up crooked. This boy was going to grow up so crooked that he would threaten the very faith of his parents. And in order to protect the parents, he killed the boy and prayed that Allah might send them a better son. The lesson here is that traditional scholarship has no way of responding, even understanding events which are unfolding in the world in Akhir Zaman, which affect the young. Where the young are going to be taken for a ride by Dajjal. And any tune he plays, they will dance to that tune. And the latest tune, shall I tell you which is the latest tune? If you didn't know, it's called a smart tune. The smart tune is very smart, yes. And the smart tune, you hold it in your hand. And I think I reminded you what happened. I was in Jember, in Indonesia, in Java, Indonesia, and I had to address about 1,000 students at the school every morning after Fajr and every night after Maghrib. And I asked them a question, and Indonesia is miserably poor. And I asked these 1,000 students, they are range from age 8 until about age 16. I said, all those who have a smartphone, put your hands up. And I felt like a breeze blowing past me with a noise. Everybody put their hands up. And I said, okay, hands down. All those who do not have a smartphone, put your hands up. And out of 1,000, there was only 1 or 2. They were too poor to have a smartphone. So you can imagine what Dajjal is doing. The young are going to be deprived of the capacity to think. The young are going to dance to every tune that the Dajjal plays. And the young are going to grow from their youth, they're going to grow up crooked. When the tree is growing up crooked, you can't straighten it. And so the message being sent from the model of scholarship of Akhirul Zaman is that when you see the signs of the young ones, your daughter, your son, your children, you see the sign that they're growing the wrong way, do not allow your children to endanger your faith. Keep your distance from a misguided child, so that that child does not have the power over you to threaten your faith. This is symbolized by cutting, by killing the boy. You do not have to physically separate yourself from your children in order to protect your faith. You could have a psychological distance from them in order to protect yourself from your faith. But if your inordinate love for your children, this biological, this physiological love for your children, which is embedded in the heart, puts you in a state of dependency on your children, and they are the ones who are growing up crooked, then that love for your children will be exploited to destroy your faith. This is the message being sent by Khidir alayhi salam concerning the reality of Akhirul Zaman. When we look at the world today, you can see how many of the young ones have already been attracted and have been captured by the Dajjal. They cannot tolerate for 1 minute living in the remote countryside. They are hooked to the shopping malls. I call it Tinsel Town. And sometimes I call it Monkey Town. And they are hooked to this. And they cannot separate themselves from Monkey Town, from Tinsel Town. And as a consequence, they will never be able to go to the remote countryside. They will suffocate, they'll fall ill in the remote countryside. And so you remain in the town because of your children. That's where you make the mistake. If you have to get off the ship and leave them aboard because they will not get off the ship, the answer is get off the ship. Leave them on board. They are your children, never mind. If Allah wishes and their hearts are transformed, they will then get off the ship and join you. Otherwise, they'd stay on board the ship, and when the ship sinks, they will sink with it. But you would not. This is our lesson to you for today, the 16th day of Ramadan. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might bless us with more and more knowledge from Surah Al-Kahf of the Quran. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.